funny, and if none of you laugh, then I'm going to feel awful. So I'm just going to claim that it's a monologue so that you all believe me. You can tell by the fact that my hand is shaking like a bastard right now.
Yeah! I didn't know bastards should.
The second reason is that I didn't memorize this because I only had a week to prepare it, so bite me. And so I'm going to I have notes here, and I wrote the whole thing on my iPod because it's the future, guys.
Trouble.
Break something? Don't break anything, okay. Alright, so I'm just gonna go ahead. So, the year is 1718. The French are traveling through the American South, being all French and such, smoking tiny cigarettes, wearing berets, surrendering, all that good stuff. Oh, Jesus Christ. So they reach an area that we now know as Louisiana, but what at the time was likely referred to as that land that we stole from the Indians, but, you know, in French. So we get to this part of the country, and everything just starts to suck. It's hot as hell, not to mention incredibly humid, supplies are low, and we had to get a new captain, because Captain Pierre got eaten by a crocodile. Or an alligator, whatever they have those down there these days. So, you might be thinking to yourself, hey, they probably wanted to get out of there as fast as possible, right? Well, that's because you're not an 18th century Frenchman. You see, the French had a bit of a different way of thinking than the rest of us because they didn't have working brains. If you'd like, you can imagine me saying this next part in an incredibly fake French accent. I'm not going to do that because I don't hate myself. Right, Captain, so we found this big area, the weather is constantly miserable, year-round, and it's crawling with friggin' alligators. Furthermore, it's below sea level and essentially is a giant bowl. So every single year, it's going to flood. And are you thinking what I'm thinking? I don't know. Are you thinking, this is going to be the sweetest town ever? Hell yes, I am. And so they did. They built their little town, and being a major seaport, it quickly became a sprawling cityscape. And, well, I'm very sorry, I suck at this. So I'm lost. Oh my god. So it developed the many different things that a city tends to have. That is, having incredibly shady tourist areas. And that brings us to what is now known as Bourbon Street, which is a wonderful example of our own ingredients completely defying all sense of logic. Hey, you want to come live in our city? Well, that depends. What's it like? Well, it's got the crappiest climate in the entire country, and you will very likely die horribly in a flood if you build a house here. Well, gee, that sounds absolutely horrendous. Oh, did I mention all the hookers and booze? I'm in. Basically what I'm saying is that if you took New Orleans, put it on a truck or something, and drove it to somewhere that's not like constantly living in a sauna, that's pure Put it in a place that is not like living in a sauna that is periodically flooded with diseased water, it'd probably be the coolest city in the world. Unfortunately, they tried that once and it didn't work. I'm not entirely sure why. Of course, there's also the people that live on the floodplains, and these people confuse me even more, because there is very little to do there, because it's a small town, and hookers and booze are kind of on a premium. Sure, it may take some time. I mean, back in the day, they had agriculture and stuff. It was a good place to live. The flood comes through, everything's okay. But nowadays, we have cars. You can leave. You don't have to live there anymore. And they're always completely shocked. Completely shocked. Every single time they get flooded, aren't they? You ever seen these guys on the news? They even seem really upset about it. Every single time. Well, we was gonna evacuate, but the kids didn't want to leave, so we just decided to wait it out again this year. Can't believe we got flooded again. That's the best part, really. Same thing every single goddamn year, and they never expect it. Brilliant. We should be really glad we live here, where the only thing we have to worry about is the ground occasionally becoming incredibly unstable and leveling the entire city. You know what? Nature sucks.